Welcome back to the Blue Way Talk Show with your host, Duane Bluestein, and Miss Shelley Marie. Okay, and now before we get started, from the last segment,
we were talking about
the performance-enhancing drugs, and Itai came up with a great point of the illegal substances that entertainers use is illegal. Right. But with athletes, it's legal. It just taints the game. Am I right?
Right. That is correct. That was the point that was brought up.
I wanted to clarify that and clean that up and everything. I still think it stinks. I still think you entertainers need to get off them drugs because it ain't good.
Wow.
It's not good. I ain't gonna preach to you.
Right. But entertainers, they are in the limelight where they're supposed to party and entertain, and sometimes it is illegal. I'm not co-signing or suggesting that anyone do that, but I see why they are more...
I think it's wrong.
Okay.
I think it's wrong because
It is. A sin is a sin.
Yeah, it was wrong. It's wrong, but I understand.
And moving on.
And moving on. Having babies
I'm sorry. And it makes your dingling little, right?
Does it? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't take it.
I mean, that's like the biggest side effects. Like, I don't really know much about steroids. I know you take it when you need to be fixed in certain areas, yada yada yada. But one thing I think
get big like this,
like this. Not too good. But anyways,
sorry. Woo! Just threw the sweat off my brow.
I mean, why would you take anything that would make your little soldier be little?
Okay. Having babies in the digital age.
See how that flowed?
Yes. It did. It played in absolutely perfect. Explain to me, how different is it? Being a parent, you were talking about the babies.
Talking about the babies.
I have a brand new great niece.
Ooh. Oh. He's so excited. Oh. He's got a baby.
I got a baby. And when I look at her, I'm like, oh my gosh. So we were in Vegas. I don't know what was going on. And my niece shot a video, shot a quick video and shot it to her aunt, her nana. 5 minutes later, it was on Facebook.
Right, crazy, instant.
Right now, there are some parents that are like, no,
don't put my baby
don't put my baby out there. And then there are some that put the babies out there, but they get recognized.
Right,
they get that notoriety, like, oh, that baby's cute.
Yeah, like that Honey Boo Boo show that they have on TV. It's a little chunky Caucasian girl that is just, they're like a backwoods type of thing. Yeah, that's what happened with her. And now she's got like 18 shows.
So what do you think? I mean, is that safe?
I don't know how safe it is, to be honest. I think that's something that needs to be researched a little bit more when it depends on what your purpose is. If you're saying, I'm just on Facebook and I'm putting my child out there, that's one thing. But
it's viral. If you're
putting them on YouTube and things like that, right. I don't know. I mean, I think it opens up the floodgate for a lot of potential things like stalking and pedophiles. And
and I'm glad that you said that. That gives them an open floodgate. Because when you put it out there, and on a lot of people's phones, you have the GPS where people can track where you are and where you live, and and when you say that you have so many kids or
it's easy to find somebody. Like I'm by all means not a stalker, but you can find people.
Are you a stalker?
No. I just think Spy Headquarters is awesome, and they give you tools to find people. And I'm not like a bad person. Am I incriminating myself?
I don't know, but
this is wrong.
Spy Headquarters, stalking, making crazy faces.
My point being is there's ways to find anybody. Like there's software that you can put up, you can install to figure out where people are. Not only that, but you have links like on Instagram now. You can say where you're at, and it gives you the crossroads of where you're at. And I didn't realize it. I posted a picture of my kids playing in the backyard, and it said, "Oh, this is where she's at." And I'm like, "Oh, hell no, y'all ain't about to come get my babies."
Right, and that's where, in this new digital age, I mean, when we were raising my kids, it was the Polaroid,
Right.
you know,
Old school
pictures,
drop
and
it
then
off at Thrifty.
yeah, and then go pick it up, and then put it in the album, and then put it in a drawer, and you never see it again,
Right.
or put the
or it'd be on your grandma's.
just underneath
table.
the glass,
Yeah,
and
underneath
just
the glass. I remember that.
just put it underneath the glass, and don't touch that table. Yes, Grandma. I'm sorry. I didn't. Are you leaning? No, Grandma. I'm not. I was just looking at the pictures. Yeah. So.
But it's different.
So what is it? Is it harder to raise a child in this day and age?
Yes.
It is harder.
I would say yes, just because of the internet and social media, and people have you have so much access to things that will that could potentially danger your kids. Even for them to have access to things, like my kids are on my tablet all the time. I have a girlfriend that she has.
And they're better at using.
Yeah,
the tablet
they are,
than
because they have it all the time. You know, but what we do as parents, sometimes we give them things. Give them toys, tablet. They're painting. They're learning how to play the piano. Awesome. That's good about digital.
Yep.
I'll go there. Okay. They're learning. You know, my son's learning his sight words that pop up. It's good. But then we was at church, Pilgrim Rest. I'll never forget. And I'm trying to keep the kids quiet in the main sanctuary. So I give him the tablet, thinking that they're going to do sight words and play these little games. And he clicked on YouTube. And it was like, don't stop, get it. And the lady behind me was like, oh, Lord. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about, Lord? What's going on?
And it was on YouTube.
Yes. I thought I had the settings on high enough for them not to access things, but I guess I was slipping.
Well, okay. So can you think of any other advantages of the digital world?
I can find my kids. Like, I have a GPS on Kennedy's phone. I'm like, where you at? She's like, oh, I'm at Danny's house. Her girlfriend Danny.
Right.
And I'm like, really? Okay, good night. Where am I at? I'm on Verizon.com trying to pull up where my baby's location is, because I'm just that kind of parent. I have to double check. Teenagers, you got to double check everything with those kids.
I mean, that's
so there's a lot of good. I think there's a lot of good.
So is it better? Is it better?
Is it better?
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna have to be better, because that's all we got.
That's all we got.
So I'm going to find a silver lining on any situation. That's just who I am and how I'm all.
So as a parent, you have parental controls that you're able to use for your kids and kind of help them, but you use it as a tool to teach them. So
Correct.
The devices and everything.
Right.
And are they more aware of stranger danger? Because when we were growing up, there wasn't. I mean, if you saw somebody weird, you just ran. I don't know that car.
Right.
You just started running.
It was funny. There was something on one. I don't know if it was Dateline, but what they did was they did a sting at the kids' school. Right. So they brought in all these undercovers and got permission for the parents. They had all the hidden cameras, and they said, "What would you think your kid would do?" And there was a lot of parents, a couple of them brown. It was like, my kid wouldn't do this. My kid would do that. And then all of a sudden, you get this guy dressed kind of funny, all black, kind of business casual, and he walks up to these kids that are walking home. He says, "Oh my God, kids!" He's like, "I'm with the police department, and there's some stray dogs that are running the neighborhood. So if you see them, I want you guys to run."
Right.
And they were, and then all of a sudden he freaks out. It's like, "Oh my God, they're coming! Get in my car!"
And they jump in the car. Right.
A couple of them didn't, but a lot of them did. I want to say like 70% of those kids jumped in the vehicle.
Because kids.
We're not teaching our kids. Right. I don't think, because until I saw that video, I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Right. Like, you don't go with anybody. They can't call you by your, even if they said, "Hey, your mom told me to come get you." My kids really don't go anywhere, places where they're not, but you do have those situations like when you're in the mall or something crazy, and things happen. They get lost, they get separated, and next thing you know, you're in mall security looking crazy because you lost your kid and you can't even remember what he had on.
Looking for the babies. No clothes.
So I think it's just us as parents reminding ourselves, just not assuming my kid knows better. My kid knows better.
Parents are so much younger now. Parents are so much younger now.
Yes.
So because they're younger, and if they didn't listen to Big Mama.
Right. And Big Mama is now Little Mama because the kids are younger, so therefore their grandparents are younger.
Well, I mean, but the basic concepts of stranger danger and doing things haven't changed.
Right.
We just don't deliver the information as hard as we were delivered to.
I agree.
Because growing again, and I go back to, and I'm aging myself, and I do apologize. But
It's okay.
I remember times that if I did something, I was told by Mr. Jones lived next door, Mr. Wynn lived over here, the Thompsons lived right here, and all of them told as soon as my mama got home, they were stopping her.
And it was okay for everybody to beat you.
Yes.
In those days, it was okay.
And I don't want to say that we need to go back to those times, because those times. I think every household and every child is different,
right?
And you kind of know your surroundings. But I also go back to, if you only know this type of life, how would you know better?
Right, I agree.
And if you only know what the hood is, and you never,
but how do you not know? Like, if that's your environment and that's all you know, and you haven't ever been off the West Coast or out of the state of Arizona, let alone the city.
I know my family. My family is the 5-mile radius. They have moved outside of 5 miles. They've been in that same location.
Right. So how do you do that?
How do you
break
remove
past that?
them? How do you take them out of that? I don't know. I don't know. And it's hard, because I was fortunate because I had a family that I had family members that travel a lot. So we traveled a lot. So we saw different areas and were able to go out and see different things. And I look at, with the digital world, you can see all these beautiful places that you can go to, and let's go and experience this. And it's just not going to Kings Island or Disneyland. There are places that you can go and really have a great time. But our kids today are so focused like this,
right?
And getting information from their friends that they're not getting information from the parents. But the parents,
I'm gonna put it back on the parents.
Parents are on
We're on
this.
it too. We're on it too.
So
I'm guilty.
So everybody's in a room. So Susie's in that room, Carl's in that room, Mama in that room, and Daddy playing PlayStation.
Okay, what I am gonna do is PlayStation, Lord Jesus. What I'm gonna do is, after the show, once this actually gets aired, I'm gonna make sure we put links on for different resources for family values. I think it's actually familyvalues.com that give you different suggestions on Wednesday night game night. Turn off, like in my house, we have no TV on Wednesdays, and we have no TV on Mondays. And then I monitor the times that we're you get allowed an hour of TV, which for me is really easy because I'm so busy. I'm like, go and put the movie on, y'all my last nerve, y'all had a good day, whatever the case may be. I come up with my excuses to ration out why they should be watching TV, but there's so many other things. Like, we didn't have all that, and we're fine, I think, right? We all right.
I can't say we all right, because we lost a little bit too, but I think that.
But it goes back to the parents. Have a system where you get it shuts off. Like, you don't have to remember to take little Johnny's iPad or tablet. You program it. You go to the Apple Store and say, "Hey, Mr. Guy, can you show me how to make this go off at 7:00?"
But we get so busy. Right. The everyday life to life deal is we are so day-to-day routine is we get so busy and so caught up in our own lives that we forget that we are raising children's lives. We're teaching them, and our fuse is so much more shorter than our grandparents. Our grandparents would stick with it. Stick with it.
Well, they were real quick. I'm gonna tell you one more time. One more time. How many times I got to tell you? Once. How many times to tell you? 2. All right, I need to go out there and get that switch off that tree. Right. I need to go get the belt. I need to go to timeout. Whatever our punishment were, they stuck to it. We don't stick to anything.
Go to your room.
All
right, I'm done. Okay.
All right, as you were. Really?
So and it's.
But you have a lot of differences. You have a lot of single households. You have, and on top of that, you do have access to all this social media and things like that. And you have kids, again, going back to the whole younger generation, teenagers having babies.
What do you do? And I hate that show, 16 and Pregnant on MTV.
Right.
I think
it exploits them. You know what we should do too is research those kids that were on that show. Where are they? Because I know one of them is like XXX.
Yeah, where are they now?
Right.
Because where do you go? I understand reality shows opens up a lot of doors, And I know everybody wants to be a star because they think, let me get in front of a camera, somebody's going to recognize me, and I'm going to make $1 million. Let me tell you something, kids. Reality shows don't make any money.
Zero.
You're not going to make any money. It's just you're getting on television to hope that somebody picks you up, but it's not going to happen. So stop trying to get on television.
Right.
Find your passion, enjoy your passion, and love yourself.